Hey everybody, this is Ryan. Welcome to another episode of Diablo Discussions. I am here with Berenger.
Hello, hello.
And we are continuing our mini-series on games that define a console. And so we are going to the Xbox first one that came out. Xbox original one. I think that's officially what it's called now.
Yeah, the Xbox One was a really stupid name. I mean, it's like, come on.
It's like
naming convention. Like, learn from PlayStation.
The new Nintendo DS. What could possibly go wrong with calling it that? Anyway, games for the original Xbox, and the first one that comes to mind that when I think of Xbox, what do I think? What game comes to my mind? And it is Halo, because to me, that was like the first time. I shouldn't say the first time, but like FPSs all followed that. Like that set the bar for FPSs in my mind, and it came out on Xbox, and it just like all of a sudden competitive FPS was a huge deal, and everybody loved it. What do you think?
Yeah, and not even that, like the story part of it. Like,
sure.
I think. Because, like, up until that point, like, all the other, FPS games, you were just, like, some grunt that was, like, fighting on some line in D-Day or wherever, Like, and this made it, you were an epic, like, a hero. Like, you were a god,
Yep, you were the like, guy that was going to go save the world.
Yeah, exactly. And it was just so, like, it was just such an epic game. Like, I'm not a huge fanboy. I've never actually, like, followed a lot of the games, but I know the story, and I've seen it played through so many times with other people that are way better at Halo than me. And it was one of the first games that I would say was fun to watch.
Wow, yeah, that's a pretty big statement. Because I mean, trust me, my wife does not think any games are fun to watch, and she sit there and sighs very loudly until I stop playing. But I'll have to keep that one in mind, I guess. But yeah, so we have kind of two different views on it. And I didn't play a whole lot of multi, and we kind of talked about this, is that it wasn't really online, at least when it first came out, right? Because it was like LAN stuff, right? Is that how it works?
It's not the way you would think online now. It's not like you go into a lobby and you get joined by a bunch of random people. I think, and like I said, I never actually owned it. I always just played it at buddies' houses. And I believe, we had 4 Xboxes in one house, right? So,
sure.
Like, that's how we always played. We just grabbed a router, lobbed everyone into a LAN party, and those parties don't exist anymore. But they used to be a thing, basement computer parties, LAN things, for those young kids listening.
Yep, you go to a buddy's house and like you bring your system. And you're walking down the street with the system in your hand, just hoping you don't drop it, because your parents would kill you.
Oh yeah, no, I had friends that made like hard case, like what do you call them? Luggage carriers, because it was a desktop. There was no laptops. No one could afford that, especially not for a kid. All right, now that should be another topic. We're getting off topic
a little bit.
That was how I remember it being. It was dial directly someone's IP address or connect directly to somebody else. It was no lobby, no matchmaking, none of that stuff.
Gotcha. But like I said, still very defining in my mind. What's another game other than Halo that you think of when you think of the original Xbox?
Well, I guess before we leave the Halo conversation, it's one of the only games that I know of that has spawned a successful TV series, if you will, the Red versus Blue, right? I mean, now it's like this big epic gaming, like animated series, but back in the day, it was just guys filming themselves playing Halo. That's all that it was.
Sure.
So I can't think of any other big game that has had that, and really actually launched the entire machinima, if you will.
Yeah, it played a massive role in that. There's no doubt.
And now everybody does it with every game out, and back then that was the only, and they were the only guys doing it.
I mean, it's a little bit different.
I'm a huge Griff fan, Church, all those guys.
So it's a little bit different, but I mean, there was the Pokemon cartoon. you know, that
but
came
they
from
didn't use
Pokemon. No, they did, but I'm just saying, like,
right.
You know, that's just, I can just imagine someone in the comments being like, excuse me, Banter, actually, the Pokemon cartoon came out a year later. And so I'm just kind of covering our bases here.
Oh, yeah. I guess I mean as far as a game that is fan-inspired, if you will,
gotcha.
and not made by the actual guy. You know, Bungie didn't make Red vs. Blue, right?
Gotcha.
Just some guys that liked the game Halo used it to make a whole series that had nothing to do with Halo. There was no Master Chief or anything in any of that, you know. Where the Pokemon TV series was based off of the video game. But I'm glad you brought that up, so...
Yeah.
That pointed that out.
Well, the conduit's going to kind of make us roll through this, so what else do you got?
Well, I don't know. We're pretty much at the Guardian almost.
We are. We just about are.
Fable is my absolute favorite Xbox series, if you will. Like, I like it better than, you know
Halo. What? I gotta say, let's pause and let's beat the Guardian here. We'll get the loot and then we'll start a new rift because we have just destroyed this, and we got to give some other games their just due. Sound good?
Right. So in the meantime, give me your favorite Red vs. Blue quote.
Oh, I couldn't even tell you.
What, like a puma? You mean like a seal? Stop making up mythical ammo. Anyway, this is it. Something on your face. It's a spider? No, it's blue. Well, like a blue spider? Sorry. I could quote Red vs. Blue forever. I mean, you know. Chupacabra thingy. I mean, anyway. I love that show.
Truly believe you. We're not going to...
Did
anything drop for you? Can you stop saying quotes for 2 seconds?
I got a sword, okay. I got a ring.
We don't have to go through them yet, but... Alright, so we're back in here now. We are now on a level 12, which was a big jump in difficulty. But I'm sure we can get this, no problem. No, probably not. But, so Fable. Fable was a huge, huge game. Talk about Fable.
I mean, yeah, it was huge as far as love and everyone loved, but it was actually a really short, and all three of them were very short. You could actually beat the entire game. I think my record was like 2.5 hours or 3.5 hours, something like that. Like, granted, the game is enormous as far as side quests and loots and titles and achievements, and that's why I loved it so much. Because you could just go to the gladiatorial arena and play it for weeks, and then walk around and be a god, you know, like everyone. And then you could choose what all the townspeople called you, chicken chaser, you know, like. And you could. It was one of the first games that I remembered. I'm sure there's maybe more before that, but it was the first game that I remember that you could go good or evil and actually have it impact the game completely.
Yeah, definitely. And that's kind of, I think, the defining thing for a lot of people. Is that you have this huge choice, you know, what you're going to do. Are you going to go around and just be a horrible person to all these villagers? And like you said, I mean, you were a god. Like, you could do whatever you wanted in that game once you got to a certain point. And then you could just run around and be this evil god. I mean, that's, like, now, like, you know, it's not a big deal anymore. But once again, they were one of the first people to do it. And that was incredibly cool. I loved Fable. I always play good. I don't know. I'm too big of a wuss to play evil in games. I don't know. I just feel bad for the villagers that aren't alive and don't have feelings. You know, oh, but they're gonna be mad at me. You know.
But that was the best part about that game was, unlike in games now like Mass Effect or wherever, where like you have to put all your points into Paragon or into, you know, Renegade or whatever, like you actually could be evil and then wear the god suit or the angel suit, whatever it was called, and everyone would think you were good, and you could walk around and do everything as if you were good, and then take off your gear and now you're evil again.
That's very true.
I love that.
Very true.
And it was one of the first games that I can also remember having, like, okay, I want to be an archer, or I want to be a magic user, or I want to be a guy with a giant axe.
Just for the record, I don't think Fable invented archers. For the record.
But it was the first game where I feel like where I was able to choose how I played it. Gotcha. Like, I want to play this game, like right now with Skyrim, right? I think you and I both have talked about that. Like, we play it differently. Like, I always play the thieving archer that sneaks around and someone else, can play the mage, or someone else just plays a two-handed warrior, and like I feel like Fable really set the pioneering stage for that.
Sure. Like we said, a fantastic game, and I don't feel like the sequels have really captured it. I don't know. It's so hard for sequels when you have a revolutionary game for the sequels to be revolutionary, and then you got to be revolutionary, but you also we missed a pylon. That was a good one. Keep going. Just keep going, and then you can utilize it. Teamwork!
Fantastic.
We're so smart. But anyway, so
2 I thought was good. I really liked 2. I thought 2, besides the story was weird with your sister, and it was pretty much the exact same game over again, but I feel like it had everything in it that I wanted. It still had the arena, and it still had the good versus bad and the housing, and but 3, yeah, you're right. 3, I've only played through once, and I felt like it suddenly just ended. Like, there was this weird gloom, and then suddenly, it's over. You have to live in your castle, and done. Yeah, so you're right. 3 did not live up to it, but I thought 2 did.
I never even played 3 because I was so disappointed with 2. Because I made the big mistake of, like, buying into Peter Molyneux. How do you say the guy's name?
I think so, yeah.
His crazy hype machine that he does. And he's like, oh my god, this is gonna be the most revolutionary game ever, and it's gonna change the way the world works, and like not video games, but the actual physical world will change. And then you play the game, and it's like you can play fetch with your dog, and it's like, wow, great job, Peter. And so I was pretty disappointed with it. I thought the game was way too easy. And I don't know, so 2 kind of killed me on the series and his crazy hype machine that he does.
Yeah, Halo was, probably the... Do you think that is the #1 overall best-selling game ever, game series? Is anything besides World of Warcraft, probably?
I don't know, Call of Duty, I'm sure. I mean, at the time, I'm sure it was, but I imagine Call of Duty has passed it.
Well, I knew this year for Christmas, the #1 gift given this year in the households was the new Halo game.
Oh wow! Yeah, I think I remember hearing that. Yeah, very true.
So I mean, it's pretty intense.
I think we can do level 13.
I think so.
Cool. Let's head back and see what we got.
All right.
All right. I got 2 weapons. Did you get anything? Get anything amazing?
No, I got a gem. That's all I got.
I got a one-handed weapon, which I probably won't use. And come on, big money. A 200 axe, which I probably won't use. It's really nice to be getting stuff that I won't use already, and I'm still wearing yellow pants, and I'm throwing away legendaries. It's kind of a bummer. Oh well.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm kind of the same way.
Well, that's going to do it for our Xbox discussion. Thanks for joining us, everybody. And until next time, see you guys.
Later. All right, let's do it. Do we have enough to talk?
Yeah, I know, because now this one's going to take forever. But
I'll start quoting Red vs. Blue.